Okay, so I'm going to explain how I did Olympia's scar in the best of my ability. I don't have my tablet out right now. I actually did this with a mouse anyway, so hopefully you could replicate it. I'm going to hide all of my layers over here down to the normal image. So the first thing I did is took my lasso tool, and I tend to select across the eye like this and get a little bit of the eyebrow. Doesn't have to be perfect, and I copy and paste that on its own layer. That's going to be the layer that I have here. So I merged, after I copied and pasted it, I ended up merging it down so that I could manipulate the image a little bit. Um, Disregard the white area here and here for right now, as that's going to come in a little bit later. I accidentally merged the layer down to this one, so ignore that for now. Anyways, after making the cutout of the eye and moving it down, um, you'll just erase part of the eye and kind of paint it in to make a scar. I'm going to do it over here just to kind of show you really quickly, because eye scars and missing eyes are really, really easy actually, and really kind of fun. So again, make sure you're on your base image, copy and paste it. It's going to paste it exactly where it was, or you might have to drag it exactly where it was, so that when you hide it, you see it's not going to change anything. Now you're going to want to grab it with your little tool so you can move it. You're going to move it down, just straight down, kind of like that. Move it down a little bit more, kind of just to a point that you feel like that's about where it should sit. Grab your eraser tool. I use a soft eraser. Size doesn't really matter. And then I go in with a 30% opacity and kind of just erase, like so. So now you see that looks like that eye is closed a little bit. Hide my grid so you can watch what I'm doing. From here, I kind of select a dark color from around the eye that's already there. So maybe this color, it's very dark, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. And with a brush, I just come in and fill that in. Just fill it in. I know it doesn't look good right now. Then you're going to grab your darkest color. So right here, that's going to be like the darkest shadows of the eyes. And then I'll grab this color, which is like one of the skin colors around the eye, or maybe this color. And using a 1 or 2 pixel brush and my brush at 30% opacity, I just do a couple lines. These are kind of like folds of skin, I guess you could say. Just do a couple little lines, and then you'll come back in with that 30% opacity and make those so they don't stand out too much. Just kind of use your gut. Now she has 2 missing eyes. It's not as good as the other one, but you kind of get the idea. You might have to play with it a little. This eye would probably benefit from this part also being brought down, but I don't want to spend a lot of time on that. But if this part was also brought down a little bit more, it would be a little bit more believable. So anyways, that's how you would adjust the eyes so that you remove an eye. Pretty nice. If you notice, like right here where it has duplicate areas, you could just bring your eraser in and erase just a little bit, and it'll help clear out some of the weird duplication of fur areas like that. Looks a little more believable. So I'll go ahead and hide that layer because it's not really relevant now. Once you have done that step on whatever eye or whatever part of the image you want to manipulate, because you can do that with other areas as well, you'll go ahead and start the next step. So the next step is this layer, which starts out as a normal layer of some tone, whatever tone you want the scar to be. I chose this nice pink color, so that's what I'm going to choose again. And I set that at an overlay. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. It's just overlay. And this is what it will look like over top of the image when you first do it. See? Now what I did then is, you'll see on this layer, I copied some of the nose here where the fur is really short, because you don't want that long fur texture on the scar. I just copied that and put it over top of my scar area, and then cut it out so that it only fit where the scar is. If that doesn't make sense, I can kind of explain it more in another tutorial, but what it basically does is make it so that underneath the scar is an area of short fur or no fur. Then you'll make your scar visible again. Make sure that you remove all color from the underside of the scar. So I turned down saturation all the way down, and then I went into brightness and contrast. Turn your brightness up a little bit, Turn your contrast all the way down. You want there to be just a faint pattern there, nothing too strong. So anyways, you've got your under scar, you've got your scar. On this layer, you can see there's, that was the layer that I originally had that I ended up hiding later, I believe. Yeah, so I hid that one later. It doesn't really add anything. It was the original fur layer, I believe, that I tried laying over top, but it looks like fur instead of like skin, so it's neither here nor there. So on this layer, what I did was pretty simple. I selected where the color of the scar is, and I filled it in with black. So I'm going to do it again for you just to show you how it works. So select the last scar. I'll hide this layer just so you can watch me. You fill this in with black. Oops. Black, okay. So it's filled in with black. Trust the process because this doesn't look like anything right now. Using a somewhat small brush at a 20% opacity eraser, you'll come in and, excuse? I think I have to deselect still. Yep, okay, there we go. You'll come in and gently erase this. You want to leave dark around the edges. The whole point is to make a beveled edge. This make it so that the very inside is erased, but then you've got the dark edges all around it. You can do it with a mouse. You can hear me clicking like crazy. It does not have to be perfect. And that starts your scar looking more 3D. The deeper you want it to go, I guess the darker your edges. Her scars weren't very deep, so that's about what my edges are. Now on top of that is this layer, which is just some white fur. Now to do this, you come in with a 1 pixel brush on whatever layer you're on. So 1 pixel. We'll do it over here just so that you can see what I'm doing. And you're going around the edge of the scar, and all you're doing is, why is it not drawing? I can do this, I swear I didn't switch my color, that's why. You're going in with 100% opacity, and you're just drawing around the shape of the scar. So for all intents and purposes, it would be this on this side. So you draw all the way around it. I messed up right there, but you draw all the way around it. It doesn't have to be precise. This is the foundation for the upper level of fur. So you'll grab your smudge tool, make sure it's at size 1 again, and you're just going to smudge that in and out. Again, just like before, it does not have to be perfect. You're just doing some smudges. You're making it blend. It's still going to appear there. You can see where I scribbled some other stuff on there. So I want to undo this so that I don't mess up what I had. I want to be able to have my stuff saved. So that's what I did when I drew it in. I smudged it a little bit. And then after that, I merged all of my layers and copied them and put my new image on top. You'll see I do that throughout my image so I don't mess up what I already have. This is the final edit, and you can see it's a lot more different because what I did here is I took that, so let's say we merge all, select all, copy, unmerge, make sure you unmerge, paste your latest version of the flattened image on top, right? So what I did here is, again, using that smudge tool, at about 70%, I came in and started making fur, like this. You do not have to do it strongly. Just keep in mind the direction of the fur. It's going to cover the scar a little bit. See? And then this is probably the part that takes the most amount of time because you want to go over it carefully. You want to make sure it's got scars. You don't want any actual sharp points, so you'll actually bring this up a little bit and then maybe back down again. You'll soften up here, and in the end, it's going to look like this. It's not going to be super clearly defined, because you'll notice nothing on the image is super clearly defined. It's not like perfectly high detailed. And there you go. That's how you get the scars, or how I do my scars anyway. I hope that makes sense. If you need any clarification, let me know.